Greetings, YouTube. Rapture, the state of being carried away with joy, love, ecstasy. 2. An expression of great joy, pleasure. 3. The carrying away or being carried away in body or spirit, now rare except in theological usage. So that is how I'm referring to it today. Rapture, in the religious context of the world ending and certain people being raised into heaven. Now, pretty much everyone that considers themselves a Christian believes that someday Christ shall return. But some members of the Christian community believe that the world shall end in an event known as the Rapture. Now, I'm not going to get into the details. If you'd like to look it up, if you're looking at me, you have the interweb at your hands. You can go look it up on Wikipedia. Take you 30 seconds. And I'm not going to debate whether it's going to happen or not. It's not really my thing to worry about that. I'm not Christian. It's not a personal issue for me. But the topic does interest me, and it has for years. And one of the three things that is personally interesting for me, and I think important for all of us, is that people that believe this are going to have a different view of long-term planning. Because, let's be honest, if a person sincerely believes that the world is going to end within their lifetime, they're not going to be worrying about things that are going to happen 40 or 50 or 100 years from now. They're not going to be here. They know they're not going to be here. They're not much concerned about things that are going to happen beyond 10 years from now. And that's important, because a person with that worldview, are they going to be concerned about a national policy on global warming? Are they even going to believe in global warming? What about military spending, education, reproductive rights, freedom of speech? I mean, the list is endless. All of these issues are related to long-term planning. And yet a person who doesn't think there's going to be a long-term is going to have a much different view of these topics. And the worst thing, of course, is that there are politicians that will pander to this religious view to help the politicians achieve short-term goals that will benefit them at the detriment to the long-term health of our nation. And they're not going to be concerned about being called on it, because the people that are helping them to achieve these short-term goals don't care. They're not planning on being here. What does it matter if the short-term plan this politician is invested in does harm the nation at large? They're convinced it's going to end anyway, so why be overly concerned? And that attitude kind of bothers me. I've seen it a number of different times in different books I've read that dealt with why political conservatives, often evangelical fundamentalist Christians, will vote the way they vote. And a lot of the times the politicians will couch their arguments and their positions and word their speeches to appeal to an audience that has that short-term plan, that isn't thinking about long-term issues because the world is going to end. Now, I firmly believe that the human species will eventually die out, but it's probably going to be hundreds of thousands of years in the future. So, I actually am concerned about the long-term planning of our species. I think we need to take care of our environment. I think we need to take care of our reproduction. There are things that we need to do to make our species better and make the time we have here on the planet right now as pleasant as possible, which is why I endorse single-payer health care, education reform, cutting back on military spending, things like this. And the last aspect about the rapture is the fact that I know for a fact that a number of our past presidents have believed in it. And that right there is terrifying. Because a president of the United States that believes in the rapture is in a unique position. And a biblical apocalypse is just a concept for most people. But a president has his finger on the button that can take it from a theoretical concept and turn it into a concrete reality. Because the President of the United States really can and the world. And that's some scary stuff right there, folks. And it's bothered me for a long time that we have that kind of an arsenal, that we put that power into one man's hands. Because I want to grow old with my wife, and I don't want the world to die in a rain of nuclear fire.